like I'm meant to strike. Flat earth beneath my feet, knowing I'm here to meet. Ocean's edge, it calls my name. Purpose in this life's game. Horizons line so clear, God's love brings me near. Flat earth made by him, my journey long yet thin. Purpose found in every day, guided by his gentle sway. Mountains tall, they stand in place, yet no curve in this earthly space. Every step holds a meaning.
Yo, folks, what's up? Good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it. We are joined by Roger and PJ. And in the back, reality, whoever that is, hasn't spoken, so no idea who that is. But good to see you guys. How you doing?
Oh, good. How about yourself, sir?
Groovy, sir. Oh, groovy.
Good.
Good to be here.
It's good to have you guys. Well, I was searching through the intervals and trying to find what we can talk about tonight, and then I came up with these two ladies. Obviously, they don't have a really big channel. They only got like just over 1,000 subscribers.
Nice.
But apparently, they're debunking flat Earth. I must say, at least they weren't rude or anything about it. They obviously have no idea what flat Earth's about, because the one even said she had to research about it because she knew nothing about it. And obviously, the thing she's been researching is idiotic stuff, like from Actoon and Simon Dan kind of information. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the surface crap, puke.
Yeah, the rubbish stuff. And probably some Dow in there because they think Flat Earth says it's rising upwards in space. So Flat Earth Society. But I tried to tag them. I couldn't. It just doesn't let me tag them. But I did leave them a comment to say if they want to ever come chat, they can come chat. So we're not going to be rude or anything about them. We're just going to, I think, correct them. You guys up for that?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, absolutely.
This is a refreshing take.
Let's do that. Okay.
All right, so for centuries, humanity has looked up at the stars, navigated vast oceans, and sent explorers beyond the limits of our world into space. And yet, some still claim that we've been deceived, that the Earth isn't a spinning sphere hurtling through space, but instead flat. A grand illusion, a conspiracy stretching back generations. But how did this idea survive in the face of overwhelming scientific evidence? And is the evidence for a flat Earth that convincing? And could there actually be some truth to it?
I think it's safe to say that this is one of the most controversial and extreme conspiracy theories. And to be honest, I don't know much about this theory, and I know of it, but I don't actually know what the flat earthers actually believe, and if they all agree on a set of principles in this theory.
I like that start. You guys, you see what I'm saying? They just get into it. They don't really know what's going on.
No. It's just
I got
trying
it.
to have a look at it from an objective point of view. Is that what they're doing? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say objective. I think they do think it's a globe and whatever.
Okay.
But what I like the approach is it's not the normal, usually anti-flat earther. Oh, they're just dumb because they believe flat earth, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Right.
They try to figure out why people believe the earth is flat kind of thing.
Well,
obviously, they don't agree.
That's a good start because that might get them down the rabbit hole of, oh, that's why they think it,
Mm-hmm.
Like just the simple thing of a horizon. Oh, Globers claim it that the horizon's curved, that we see boats going over the curve at 3 miles. But flat earthers claim that the horizon's level and that we never observe any curvature. That's interesting. Yeah, it's a good way. It's a good way to maybe start flat earth. I mean, that's how a lot of people do start. So it's good. It's good.
So apparently the Will Duffy arrest record was removed.
Ooh, wow.
Ooh. Ah,
Uh,
That's
I
odd, don't
wanted
you
to,
guys think?
definitely.
yeah, it is. That's strange. I
No,
want to disagree with her. The 4 centuries of us navigating and going to the stars. I don't think that's a fact at any stretch. That's what she said, right?
Yeah, but also you're going to
Yeah.
see they don't really understand science. It does sound like they're trying to claim that they are scientists or science communicators or something. I haven't watched any other content from them, so I don't know. But the way they're talking here, it doesn't seem very scientific, like they understand what science really is. So if they are scientists, I think it would more along the lines be of pseudoscience. So yeah, like I said, so I would actually like to have a conversation with them because I think it can be productive.
It
Explain
could
some
be.
things to them and get some where they coming from kind of thing. So
Hmm.
Well, at least they're asking questions so far. That's a good start to begin with. And I'm glad
that's
the
always
topic's on the table. Yeah.
and this shows you it's getting everywhere
No, it's
because
dying, but it's dying.
because Flatzoid's supposed to be dying, but yet every day more and more people are getting into the subject.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And these girls look like they're in school, like college almost, maybe.
Yeah. Do you have
I would say
global?
I'd say they're early 20s maybe.
I'm going to reach out and smack him in a minute if you don't stop.
Oh, shut up, you whining little victim. Go away.
Okay, guys, we don't even want to talk about the guy.
No, of course.
Lucas just literally doesn't want to leave. I've kicked him maybe 25 times now, and he's still coming back into Restream. So we're not going to talk about him anymore
No,
because he keeps
definitely.
making it the Lucas show. So yeah, let's carry
Why
on.
not? Let's carry on.
Yeah, I think she lives in Australia, this one, and the other one lives in the UK. But it sounds to me that this one came from the UK as well, because in the beginning of the video they had a whole intro where they talked and introduced themselves and all that stuff. Obviously, we don't need to know that. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to say, this was probably one of the harder conspiracy theories that I've had to research because it's so hard, especially as a scientist, to see
see
a
what I'm saying,
flat Earth.
as a scientist.
That's a scientist.
Well, I don't know what job she does though, so I can't really say it. You know what I mean?
Well, she maybe is a scientist. I mean, look at her top. It says so cultured. She might be into
Yeah, that's their channel, So Cultured Podcast.
so they might be into biology or chemistry or something.
Obviously, they are evolutionists, so they believe in the Big Bang, which you're going to hear.
Yeah.
The word on believe there, yeah.
And guys, you
Believe
have
in the
you guys have all the right to block people that literally are making. How can I put it? You know, McToon brought out a video, guys, earlier, and we called a village bicycle.
Sprouts of Doom. Don't come in here saying silly, horrible things like that.
I just hit it from the channel.
Right, you got it.
But anyway,
Good.
you see the difference between Lisbeth and my wife. Lisbeth sends nude pictures to Jaren. My wife doesn't do that to anybody. So get your facts straight, mate.
No, that actually happened.
We literally have seen a picture of Lisbeth half naked for Jaren. So
Oh, nice.
Sickos.
get your facts straight.
Absolute sickos.
That whole group is a perverted, nonsense, idiotic people, and frankly, they need to get a life.
Keith,
Yeah.
they're just jealous because your wife's beautiful. And
Yeah, because your wife's hot. You know
and
what I
they
mean?
couldn't pull a dead cock.
You know what I mean? That's it.
There's a reason why I have 4 children, people.
Down, boy.
And that's sad though.
I
Like
like it. I
a
like it.
woman that's not even in that,
I know.
you're attacking her.
I know. I know.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so let's get on with the actual topic. Scientist. She says she's a scientist, so that's going to be interesting. I'd like to see what she does actually is as a scientist. Maybe she is a chemist or a biologist or something. You don't know, but we'll see.
side. But the modern flat earth movement can be broken down into 4 separate theories that like kind of overlap, and some people agree with, some people don't. But the first is like the most fundamental one, which is that the earth is flat, and Antarctica is a giant ice wall that holds all of the contents inside the sky. And above the earth is a dome similar to like a planetarium, and the sun and the moon rotate on an axis around the top of the dome, giving us the
I wouldn't say the sun and the moon rotate above axis. There's no axis to rotate.
No,
The sun and moon move in a circuit.
they're placed in the
inside
firmament.
system. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just to be honest with you, I don't know the exact mechanism that makes the circuit go.
No, that's it.
God put it in motion when He did, and it's still going to this day.
well, the Bible is also clear. We won't know everything. Some things are too complex for us to understand. So
I can live without it, understanding.
well, look at it this way. It's actually awesome if you think about things. There's things we can't know, because that's how awesome God is. That He's so great that no matter how hard you try, you're not going to know what it is, how it works,
That's
because
right.
that's how awesome God's creation is. That it's too complicated for the smartest, most wisdom-filled, knowledgeable people to ever understand what's going on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does work within our natural realm, though, because we live in it and it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Can't argue with it.
Yep.
That's right.
But it's supernaturally powered.
Yeah.
simulation of day and night. And the second theory is that NASA is covering up the truth about the nature of the Earth in order to use the US's tax money not on space research, but on top secret projects. Now, what those top secret projects are, no idea. And it's not told what they are, I guess, because they're top secret. And then the third is one you've probably heard before, that the Earth is not just another planet, but it sits at the center of our solar system and was created by something much, much bigger than humans. And the Big Bang, well, it never happened, which is giving like Bible theories for things.
No. Big Bang, if the Big Bang actually came from Jesuits, you do know that the Catholics, they have a Bible too, so just have to point that out. The Big Bang's based on religion.
Oh, yeah.
The big bonk.
Catholics for today.
Yeah.
God doesn't create misogynists. Misogynists create themselves. God gives people free will to become misogynists if they choose to be so. It's amazing people don't understand what free will is, do they?
Yeah, I know.
Well, they use it every day.
I mean, if someone goes and decides to murder someone, God didn't create the murderer. God created him to have free will to do what they want. That person decided to use their free will and murder.
Yeah.
God didn't create murder.
That's right. That's
No, I
right.
think
If there was no sickness, let's put it this way, if there was no sickness, there was no death, there was no blah, 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 that is all a result of the fall in Adam and Eve, okay, in the garden, because the result of sin is death. Sin was always there. God didn't create sin. It's a, as you would put it, an opposite and equal reaction, equal and opposite reaction, just like you have in natural law of physics. If you have good, you have bad. If God didn't give us free will, we would just be robots. If he didn't give you a choice to take the sinless path of the sin, you would just be a robot. You would be, you would have no purpose. Then you might as well just be like this mug that's created to drink a cup of Joe. Now, I drink coffee in it. That's all it's made for. Has it got any free will to do something else? No, because that's all it can do.
Exactly.
So if we were like this mug and God created us as a mug, what's our purpose in life?
Exactly. I mean, that's a testament to his grace in that, because he could have created us any way he wanted, just to completely serve him and be automatons, like you said. But no, he gave us choice. He gave us the ability to say, oh, I want this, or I want that, or I'll take this road, or I'll take that. I will choose God, or I will choose the devil. God wants you to choose him, to love him. You know what I mean? And it's just testament to his mercy that he does that. That he gives you the free will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the thing is, that you have to be accountable for your free will.
Of course you do.
That's why.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are always accountable for everything. Remember, one day you're going to stand before God and you have to account for the things you've done, for the decisions you've made. I mean, it's the same as if you break the law. At the end of the day, you stand accountable for breaking the law.
Of course.
Well, I think the government made us an automatons. So,
Well, they're trying to control us.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
not God, government.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth is that gravity, as we know it, doesn't exist. And instead, the Earth is just constantly moving upward, being pushed by dark energy that provides this acceleration and causes the sensation that we refer to as gravity. So, like, the flat Earth that we're on is moving upwards. And as a result, it's causing us to be out.
That's why I said it looks like they were looking at Flat Earth Society nonsense, or maybe Dell behind the curve. You don't know. But no, the Earth is stationary. It's observed to be a stationary enclosed plane. And yes, the Bible describes that because God created it that way. But yeah, that's what I said. I think it'll be interesting to have a discussion with them and explain to them. There is different factions in the Flat Earth, which we call the shills, because, well, they're minus or big globers, because what they claim is idiotic and nonsense and tries to make Flat Earth look stupid.
I got a question about that. What causes the upward motion itself? What's their actual cause and effect?
They don't know. They just have it. They just say it's there.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like you said, what causes it and where's it going into?
I don't know, man. That's how would you test that, anyways?
But it's sad because the upward rising Earth is actually based on globe rhetoric, because even based on general relativity with their globe, the ground is moving up towards to meet the object. So they have what you would call expanding Earth that never actually expands because it's in the fourth dimension. It's quite crazy.
Where would you find this fourth dimension at?
It's only a mathematical construct.
Oh, okay. So we just take it on blind faith. The same with the globe too. It's just like, hey, you just have to trust me, bro.
Yeah.
We know.
Oh, I didn't do that. What did I do that for?
Mm-hmm.
I hit somebody by mistake. Where?
Who'd you hide?
Next chapter. Sorry, next chapter. You're hidden again.
What'd you do, man?
Yeah. Anyway, so McToon's how can I put it? He doesn't like that we're calling him perverted and stuff. So now he's trying to misrepresent things that people say. Remember, he took a short clip that we said how long ago? Just months ago on the stream where we were saying there's a reason they took Lisbeth on the trip.
I was about to say, Sandra, what's wrong with you on your name?
I want to know where the mythologist is. That's what I'm asking right now.
If you're unsure of your name, then what's wrong with you?
And I want to say to McToon, next time you post just a little short clip like that, make sure you put in context of what's being talked about. It helps.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know
How
I
to
lived on a
stand
tangent
on
plane.
Earth, if that makes
Huh?
I didn't know I lived on a tangent plane. So I was just asking myself.
Yeah. But I have to say, I'm honored that McToon still watches my content, guys, that he literally has to go months in back to actually look for a clip to put it on. You have to actually search for it. So well done, McToon. Guess what? I don't watch your stuff.
You're relevant, Flatzoid,
Yeah.
is mine.
But you see, that's the problem. Remember, Flat Earth is supposedly dying, that all the anti-Flat Earthers have to look through all the flat earthers content to get content because we aren't engaging with them anymore.
That's it. That's it.
So now they're desperate because they don't have anything anymore. All they got now is Mr. Golden Boy Jaren to have interview with. That's it. Then they have nothing further.
Yeah, what happens when that novelty wears out?
Well, they're going to find another sucker.
Let's just put it this way. The reason we made that context is because we saw a picture of her from Jaren's stream that he tried to hide. It was very revealing. So we said, we all know why she was chosen for the trip.
Little eye candy, maybe? Or something a little more.
Exactly. Not our fault that this whole thing has been planned from long ago and the people they chose to go. If you don't like it, that's your problem.
Yeah, I just want to say to Alipio Barreto, Flatzoid, what you and your team said about Elizabeth are too low, disgusting.
Is that so, Alipio?
I've never said anything about Elizabeth.
Okay.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no. It's fine. You can think that if you want to, but Lipo, can I ask you something? Do you have any evidence what I said was false?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so far I can tell it looks like there's evidence for it. So,
and I can tell you one thing: the videos I've seen from Jaren, it wouldn't put me past that he's done that stuff. The pictures I've seen from Elizabeth to him, yeah. Do I think McToon and them will take part in it? Well, yes. Frankly, I don't think McToon is one of the cleanest guys around. I think he's one of the most perverted guys around. He's just like Jaren. So,
without doubt.
Can I ask him one question? Do you got any evidence that the Earth's motion causes a season? Can you actually prove the Earth is in motion?
No, they can't.
Please provide. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just going to say it plain out. It's our opinion that group that went needed a certain somebody for entertainment. Don't like it, that's your problem.
And everybody has one. The
yeah, especially when you work with atheists and occultists and people that are perverted. They have their satanistic rituals they need to do.
Sandra just not hit him, but Albert Tatler, anybody comes in that thinks they're going to mention Flatzoid wife's name, take a back seat, because you're just try to do that. Is just try to trigger him, and it's not going to work. Piss off.
There's more about them though, Keith, to be fair.
Okay, let's put it this way. Has my wife got anything to do with the flat Earth?
Nothing.
No.
Has my wife got anything to do with Elizabeth sharing pictures with Jaren and them?
No.
So what the hell are they putting my wife's name into this?
Exactly.
Because they want to get you pissed. That's why.
Do you know what? Some people couldn't go any lower.
But that's why I say these are all the same person with different soccer accounts, by the way.
All right.
Do you put them in timeout?
Yes, no, not in timeout. Hide user from channel. As soon as you mention my wife.
Oh, they're gone. They're gone.
All right.
Everybody knows the rules, yeah. Mention my wife or my children in a derogatory manner, you're not welcome here. Full stop.
Absolutely.
Never occurred to me to do such a thing to anybody, anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, let's carry on with the actual topic.
Makes sense.
Okay, so they're really just coming up with anything but gravity. Like, they'll accept anything but gravity. Okay. The reason
No. It's not that we don't accept anything but gravity. Gravity has never been shown to be true. You need gravity for your globe. By the way, hello, Janusz. Good to see you, man.
Hello, everyone. I didn't want to interrupt you.
No stress, man. But yeah, we have, how can I put it? We ascribe to what we call relative density disequilibrium here. Well, I do. I don't know about everybody, but that's what I do. And I do find it more scientifically viable than gravity because it actually has an independent and dependent variable. It has actual experimentation that can validate it. We are able to observe the change in the ratio. When it comes to gravity, there is no scientific experiment and a hypothesis to validate anything for gravity. What is gravity, first of all? Nobody knows.
It's an accelerated force, Flatzoid.
No, it's not.
Oh,
It used to be
damn it.
seen as a force. Now it's just seen as not an actual force or a pseudo force that's created by space and time warping around masses
There is
in the
important.
fourth dimension.
Yeah.
Wow.
There is very important fact. People, gullible people, they think they know what gravity is. The big problem is even so-called science doesn't know what gravity is. So this way, those people who say they know what gravity is, they're putting themselves above so-called science. So it's like, and they don't even get it because they're so deeply brainwashed.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed when you said about the Antarctic and like the walls. I literally was holding in my laugh because you remember at the start of this series, I told you about my uncle who's like doolally and he believes any conspiracy theory. And at Christmas dinner, he started trying to tell me that evolution was a lie and it was like this whole thing. But I specifically remember like
Well, he
being
was telling
a
you
kid
the truth.
and
He was telling you the truth.
What a way to talk about your uncle.
Isn't that mad that they find it so ludicrous that our uncle is so nuts that he thinks that we did not evolve. Wow.
Well, I know a lot of mental people that aren't flat earthers, so just saying.
Yeah.
And she doesn't
So,
even know what she is talking about, to be honest, because she's reporting the fact that he was trying to tell her. No, he told her that the evolution is not true. He wasn't trying, he told her.
Mm-hmm. But you see, I don't know, they claim to be, they claim to be scientists. I don't know where the science comes from, but they clearly don't understand science from what I'm gathering.
Well, at least her uncle is not a monkey. That's all
People
I
Yeah,
gotta say.
at least he understands. At least he understands he didn't come from apes.
Mhm.
He didn't come from amoeba that turned to some rock, and then everybody's just cousins of rocks. Remember?
Yeah. And, yeah, absolutely.
At this point, you would think that even slightly not very intelligent people, would understand that they were fed lies for 3-4 years. Trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. How many people died?
No, I mean, I would like to see the
They still don't get it.
protocell. I'd like to see this protocell that they all claim for evolution. Without a protocell, you have no foot to stand on with evolution. It's as simple as that.
Well, I mean, there's not a protocol that just evolved into something else. It could be anything.
Protocells are fantasy.
Safe and effective.
There's no
Logic.
self-creating, self-replicating cell.
I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
what started the change in these things? What started the need for the change in these things? Why? I mean, there's so many unanswered
Yeah,
questions.
but where did it just come from?
Exactly. I mean, after it comes from nowhere, how does it do this? Why does it do it? And why does it find the need to do it? And how is it even knowing it's got a need to do it when it's not conscious?
Well, let's put it this way. It goes against entropy because it's creating more information than what it had.
Yes.
That
Absolutely.
goes against all observed reality. Because
It kinda-
to be able
kinda
to be
built
more
itself,
complex, it creates more information to become more complex, to evolve, quote unquote. No, what we observe in reality, people devolve, you can say, because you lose information, not gain information.
That's right.
Especially if you take poisons into your stream, it'll actually devolve you really quick. You'll lose information, generation to generation. Yeah, especially, I think that's what the reason why they do a lot of that. You know what?
Quite crazy.
he was so flat earth, like he is a flat earther, and he really well and truly believed that in the Antarctica there are mile high walls that are protecting like top secret NASA military projects. And it just made me laugh. But
I don't know about that one.
I don't know about a mile high.
I don't know where they get that information.
No, I've heard a lot of stories about the Antarctica, both supposed North Pole and South Pole. Yeah, I've heard a lot. I have plenty of videos related to the subject as well.
But yeah, it's insane for what's going on. Like how it's difficult to understand if someone's actually telling the truth or not. You know what I mean?
Is.
Give me 2 seconds.
You can't really trust, but we have to focus on the facts we can really confirm. So, for example, Germans were going to build their homeland in the Antarctica. Why? If there's nothing there, I just ask why. And then why there's Antarctic Treaty? Why? Questions, ask questions. That's it. I don't claim that I know what's there because I fucking don't. But why? There is many questions like that related to Antarctica, and something doesn't add up in a big way.
Well, wasn't there 41 nations or 42 nations that originally signed the treaty to start with? And it's all politically based, supposedly. But they said it's to stop all wars, supposedly, across the world. It was done in peace. I don't see the nations doing
fight
that.
each other, but they do not break the Antarctic Treaty versus each other. That's odd. Why?
Yeah, I've always found that very odd. They literally at war with each other, sending their own people to die because they don't like each other. Yet they are able to work with each other on a place of ice that they don't want to say is theirs.
Yep. And NASA and CCP as well.
But yet they fight for land. They kill people for land, but yet in that piece of land, nobody cares to fight for it. They work together for it. It doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't.
For me, it does, to be honest. You know why? Because those countries, they are not ruled by the Trump, Putin, Xi Jinping. Those countries are ruled by the people above them. And those people above them are ruled by the seed of Satan and the odd bloodlines. That's what it is. And then they are ruled by the demons. And then Nephilim. And then the fallen angels. And then Satan.
By the way, Flats, you got 2 new subscribers today from Walmart. 2 guys walked up. They told me that they subscribed to your channel. I know.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Nice.
I know. So
That's really
the word's getting out, man. People are learning about this stuff, and they're liking the content. So
that's good. I'm glad.
What was the phrase? At the beginning, they laugh at you. Later, they ignore you. And the third step, they accept it as a truth.
Well, it's the same as the what the atheist scientists say. At the bottom of every glass, you find God.
Yeah.
atheists say that. That's strange. Well, you got to believe in something, right? Yeah.
Because if you look at a lot of the atheists, especially the scientist atheists, when they try and disprove creation, they always get to stumbling block that they have to accept it's created. There is no step back before creation. There isn't.
And it always goes to the 2 people who created.
Well, look how intricate it is.
Yeah.
It's very intricate. The creation itself. It's complex as hell. Just a single plant itself is way too complex to just make itself.
More complex than a city.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at the signature of the DNA and everything, that's quite telling. That's not by chance.
I can bring the numbers if you want.
Unfortunately, we can't do that because the last time we tried to talk about it, YouTube, unfortunately, banned my video.
What was
Remember, we started talking about the DNA code and
Oh, yeah.
and then,
Right.
I don't know how that is misinformation.
There was a pretty good joke. Scientists claim that they can create human now, a life form and so on. So they're starting, creating human from the clay, and the God comes in, take the clay. No, get your own clay.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Get your own water, your own dirt. You can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There's quite a few explanations, I guess, like you've just said before. But where did this theory actually first ever originate from? But how did people even come up
Where
with
did it
this?
first?
Yeah. Okay, so let's go
Reality.
to the summer of pagan.
So
It's always been flat.
Yeah,
She thinks its globe was always there, you know. She's
Yeah.
asked other question from
That-
where globe came from.
that's what I say. Yes,
That's a proper
that's a
question.
question. That's the operative question.
Mhm.
Where did the globe come from? When did they start thinking that bull? I mean,
Well,
if they're going to have a proper look at flat Earth and go back into it, I'm sure they'll find that out if they take an objective look. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Well, you can fight it cognitively all day long, and you see what happens with those anti-flat earthers. See how bad it gets.
Mm.
But I mean, if you look at it, all civilizations always understood it was flat. Then came the pagan masters, the Greeks, and decided, supposedly they did, and decided the earth has to be a sphere because the gods only create perfect shapes. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
So weird pagan cultists who believe that because a sphere is a perfect shape, therefore the gods had to create a perfect shape. Therefore, Earth's a sphere.
Mm.
And from there, their cult grew, and people now all of a sudden, after the last 600 years now, think the Earth is a globe.
I always counter this argument with isn't circle a perfect shape? Isn't circle
Yeah.
perfect? I always counter with
You
it.
could say that.
Yeah, look, a sphere is a perfect three-dimensional shape.
Yes.
So here's a question: what in nature that you see around you is a perfect sphere? Just like look at fruits,
Really
vegetables,
nothing.
anything. Nothing
Kind
outside of
of.
nature.
Kind of drop of water. Kind of.
Mm.
But
But it's not perfectly spherical.
but when it falls down, it's like elongated. When it's on the surface, it's flattened. So yeah.
Now, the closest, like Roger said, is you get into a perfect circle in nature's fruits, isn't it? But even they're not perfect; they're oblate.
Nope. Yeah. Not pear shaped neither.
Yeah.
Not all things are shaped like a pear. A little chubbier at the bottom, you know.
Mm.
It
But
needs to go on a diet.
the thing is,
Pearls are designed into spheres, like they turn into spherical, but even they are not perfect spheres. A
Nope.
pearl, no, in a oyster, even they don't come out perfectly spherical, but close, I suppose.
So nature doesn't produce perfect spheres.
No,
To say
no, exactly.
I'm asking Jollyman. Jollyman, are you talking about the Devon Island? You're talking about Mars.
that. Dublin Island. Yeah, there's actually a base up there next to Dublin Island, across the channel from it. It's called Mars. That the government runs. It's been there for a while.
Yeah.
That's as close to Mars that I know. There's a light in the sky they call Mars.
Well, you can't go to Mars because it violates the laws of thermodynamics.
How high can you
First of all,
fly?
the creation of Mars as a planet violates the first law, and the fact where it's situated violates the second law of thermodynamics. So, no matter which way you look at it, you can't go to it because it violates natural law.
There you have it.
Mm-hmm.
And Devil
And
worshippers.
there's no vacuum, by the way. That violates anything in
Mhm.
nature. You don't run across vacuums. It just in nature.
Yeah, nature abhors a vacuum.
Yeah.
And the devil worshippers perfectly know about it, about natural law. They really believe in it, and they know it. So they know all this globe is a scam.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantasy.
Fantasy. Okay, let's carry on.
1838. And this is a time where significant scientific discoveries are being made. So the atom has just been discovered, for an example, and the Doppler effect is being investigated or unraveled. And amid these advancements, there's a man called Samuel Rowbotham who went by the pseudonym
Parax.
Yeah. She said Amuel, not Samuel.
She did say Amuel.
Yeah, it's Samuel, but yeah, it's supposed to be Samuel, correct. But you can see they got this information like on Wiki and things like that. You know, it's the same old script when you just start researching. This is what I say. Because people say, why do we always, talk about these things? It's been spoken to death and stuff. It's because for people like this that just get into the subject, we have to keep the updated information coming.
Of course.
Because the old videos and stuff don't get recommended anymore. You need to update to get the new videos recommended. So even if you have to get the old information out by a new video, it's the only way to get the information out there to people getting into the subject. For people like this.
And I want to say she's not a scientist. She's a girl in Essex who started a YouTube channel. That's what she is.
Well, they
I'm just
claim to be
throwing that-
scientists. I don't like it. I know nothing about them, so I can't claim.
No
I don't know
judgment.
what their job professions are. Excuse me.
Or their acumen. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like I said, what we are hearing right now, it doesn't sound like they really understand what science is. So it could just be they're just claiming to be scientists as a colloquial term.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll add credit to what they're saying and make people watch their channel. It's a magic word, right? Scientist,
Yep.
not an
As soon as
engineer.
they say science, it gives, how can I say, it gives weight to the situation. Then people think, oh, because science, therefore true.
I can tell you from the personal experience back in the days, or quite a while ago, the easiest way to convince a woman in a matter of flat Earth was being in relationship with her, because then you have an opportunity to speak with her truly, and speaking from the bottom of her heart, and she will really listen to you, and she will tilt to your perception. That's how it always go. Unless she's so deeply brainwashed. But if you see that this kind of person is so deeply brainwashed, you wouldn't be even with her in the first place. So if she's like one leg here, one leg there, you can definitely convince her, provide evidence. Because we, as a man, we are logical thinkers. Mainly, women are more emotional. That's why we are in perfect sync.
Mm-hmm.
Parallax. Like he just gave himself a new nickname. Not too sure why, but I decided to add
Oh,
that
wait.
detail in.
The reason he gave him the name parallax is because he was telling you it's all just perspective based. It's optical. There is no curve. It's not physical. I think that's the best way to explain it.
Yeah.
But yeah, flat Earth has been around long before Samuel Rowbotham was even a sperm in his father's eggs. Come on.
Robots again.
It's actually quite, I don't know, it kind of grates me a bit when we get the people always pushing back to Samuel Rowbotham. We don't care about Samuel Rowbotham. He's actually got nothing to do with flat Earth. If he existed or not, doesn't make the Earth a flat Earth. Reality makes it a flat Earth. What we observe makes it a flat Earth.
Yeah, nothing to do with Sammy Boy. If Sammy Boy never existed, still a flat Earth.
I still don't even know who he is.
Yeah, but that's the thing. How many people today understood the Earth is flat without Samuel Rowbotham? 90% of us.
Absolutely.
Nearly 2 years I've been watching Flats, and I still don't know who Samuel Roble.
Yeah, no, but I just don't. I think Samuel Rowbotham was maybe planted to give a certain look for flat Earth, to say, look, guys, he's the one that created it. So all of you are just duped because you believe this 19th century dude.
I think they just like saying his name, really.
Yeah, they do. They do. They love saying it.
Just love saying that name.
Yeah, they do.
Fine.
Wait, like he called himself Parallax?
Yeah. Like he published a few
Okay.
books, and that was like his name on the book.
First, I guess it's like having a stage name or something.
Yeah, but he basically decided to revisit a long settled debate. So it was kind of already established at this point that the Earth was round, and I'll go into how we got to that conclusion
Not specific
a
enough.
bit more into the episode.
Yeah.
Not specific enough, just saying round. They
Yeah,
always say it.
that's also something in this arena. Everybody's seen this. Circles are round too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why can't they just say sphere? Why do they specifically have to say round all the time? And I specifically know whenever I was growing up and people were talking about the Earth, they either said world or they said globe. They didn't say it's round. But everybody today says round for some reason.
Yeah, they do. They do. Before they say, usually before they say spherical, globe, ball, they say round. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, his reason for that was that science was advancing so quickly that it was not necessarily observable by the standard human being who wasn't in science. And so there was this gap in like what people could observe themselves and what discoveries scientists were making. So basically it was becoming more unbelievable for the average person compared to previously, when a lot of science was observable discoveries. So
it's difficult. Observation alone is not science, though. To make it science, you have to make a hypothesis of what the cause is for that effect observed, and then you have to experiment so you can validate it. Then it becomes science. Just observing it alone doesn't make it science. I mean, let's for instance take a soothsayer. What's those people that use the crystal balls? The
Seers?
Witches?
yeah, witches. Yeah. But I'm just saying they got a certain name for them. Psychics.
Psychics, yeah.
Okay, they make predictions using the crystal ball. Are they scientists?
Of course not.
Yeah. So when people claim science is based on just prediction, I predict the sun will rise. That's not science.
No.
The prediction in science is based on, is your hypothesis prediction correct? Is the cause stated in your hypothesis the actual cause for the observed phenomena? That is the prediction. That's where prediction stops, because it's your assumed cause. When you do the experiment, you are assuming or predicting that will cause the observed phenomena. That's it. That's where prediction ends in science.
Just send Vicky the wiki on Samuel Rowbotham. No. She'll
Yeah,
get the basic idea of who he is, you know.
Yeah, he was the guy that did the Bedford level.
Yeah, Bedford level.
The experiment.
Yeah. You've heard of that, haven't you, babe? Babe! Hey!
Sleeping.
Got headphones on.
What?
I'm saying you've heard of the Bedford level experiment, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's Samuel Rowbotham.
Oh, I get you now.
Right, there you go. But I sent her the wiki. And I said, I know wiki's not very accurate, but it'll give her a basic idea.
But they tell you who he is. So.
Yeah.
wanted to revisit the shape of the earth, and he actually spent his childhood poring over the Bible as much as his textbooks. I feel like this is quite a common theme with flat earthers as well. But as Rowbotham grew older and his academic studies advanced, he was suddenly confronted with really frustrating contradictions. So
I have an issue with.
Hold on, Sandra. Sandra, sorry, I wanted to unhide him a second because all he said was, "You guys get any flat Earth evidence yet? You can hide him in a minute if you want. I just wanted to unhide him to ask him, you got any globe evidence yet?"
Remember, Tim Osmond says nobody says the horizon is physical.
There you go. So,
yeah. If you want evidence for a flat Earth, show. Okay, great. I don't observe any movement right now. Globe debunked. Well done. Okay. If we're a botanist, then you miss the Aristotles. Then they're master in Aristotles, so they call them literal tots. Exactly, Sean. But what did I want to say now? Let me just.
Newtonian science doesn't really reconcile well with the teachings of the Bible.
That's what I want to say. Yes. One thing that I have realized, especially with Flat Earth, it brings people to God. Most cases, they're none. Obviously, you still have some atheist Flat Earthers, which I think is really idiotic, by the way. But most cases, the understanding when you get to Flat Earth, you understand there's a purpose and it's created by someone, and there's a God. So flat Earth does, more times than not, lead people to understand there's a God, and a lot of times it's Bible. Like I was a Bible believing Christian most of my life before I was a flat earther. I didn't really understand the Bible as the way we read it now because it wasn't open to me that way. But once you get into the flat earth and you read it, and you're like, wow, okay, yeah, it does make sense. This is why this is said this way, and that's why that's said that way, because God created the earth for a purpose in a way. So yeah, flat earth does lead people to God. And I think that's also one of the reasons why so many people want to be against flat earth, because they don't want God to be a thing.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So in Genesis, it spoke of the earth's four corners with the heavens above the earth. So that would mean that the earth couldn't be a globe, though, could it? So to test this theory, Rowbotham believed he could demonstrate that the earth was flat through direct observations, and he chose a nearly 10-kilometre or 6-mile canal in Cambridgeshire as the site for his experiment. And his reasoning was straightforward. If the earth was a globe with a circumference of 25,000 miles, its curvature should cause objects to gradually disappear from view as they moved further away. Specifically, after 1 mile, the surface should drop by approximately 8 inches, and after 2 miles by 32 inches, and after 3 miles by 6 feet.
Did say
And that
something
was a
about,
pattern that should...
Sorry?
mentioned a bit earlier, like Genesis mentioned the four corners of the earth. Genesis doesn't. It mentions the ends of the earth, but not the four corners.
Yeah.
She said that. She just said that earlier about the four corners, so she's mistaken. I think she meant Revelation.
Revelation, yeah. But I mean, like what she's talking about now with the Rowbotham, we've got to point out again, it wasn't an experiment, even though he claims it was an experiment. It was just an observation demonstration. Okay. It was just simply he put in a true dichotomy. It's either one or the other. If it curves, globe. If it doesn't curve, not globe. Well, he showed it didn't curve. Guess what the excuse was? Refraction.
No doubt.
They came up with what they call terrestrial refraction, which is not actually refraction. It's not even based on Snell's law, which is refraction of light. So they go to Fermat's principle and they try and wangle their way in to say, oh, yeah, it is refraction, because they're saying straight lines curve now. Which is sad, because that's all the globe ever does. Every time they get shown wrong, they make a God of the gaps argument to try and fit their belief system. And that's why they're sitting with gravity in such a turmoil today. That's why they got what they call dark matter, because they believed that you require mass to have a gravitational pull. Dark matter shows there's no mass, yet you have your gravitational pull. So in other words, you're wrong. Not maybe we don't understand it. No, it means you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of accepting that, now they're creating quantum gravity and quantum foam. So they are moving more to an entropic quantum gravity effect instead of just saying maybe gravity doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Continue over great distances. So to test this, Rowbotham placed a telescope just above the water surface and observed a boat with a 1 meter tall post with a flag at the top as it travelled along the canal. And according to his calculations, the post should have gradually disappeared beyond the horizon due to the curvature of the earth. However, he reported that...
Yeah. I just realized she's got a periodic table behind her. On a wall. Okay.
Pink, nice pink one.
that the post remained visible for the entire 6-mile distance, proving that the earth was flat. And so Rowbotham published his findings and continued to advocate for his flat earth theory. And on December the 5th, 1849, Rowbotham even scheduled a lecture at the Working Men's Newsroom in Blackburn, but things didn't go quite as planned during the lecture.
This is literally just reading off of
Reading
Wiki.
it straight out of Wiki. Definitely.
Yeah, Josh, man, we need to get together sometime again. Find out how it's going, everything, man. But it's good to hear you going on, man.
Because some attendees wanted to know why the hulls of ships that travelled out to the sea disappeared before their masts. So, like the base of the ship, as it went over, it disappeared before the top of the mast. And so that kind of goes against everything that Rowbotham had.
No, it doesn't go against anything Rowbotham said. The fact that you could still see what was supposed to be hidden by earth curve shows it's not earth curve. Bottom-up obstruction is another optical effect based on the limiting angle and diffraction. We usually explain it like when you look out in the ocean, guys, there's usually waves. I don't know if anybody has ever noticed that waves closer to you, they're actually smaller in size than ones that are further away. But because they're closer, they seem larger. Just like my hand. It's like forced perspective. Just like my hand. See? It's just, it's blocking half my face. But if I move it closer, the angular size of that hand is growing. It's not physically growing, but it's blocking my whole face. That's because of forced perspective. It's the same with the waves. That smaller wave by that, how do I put this? Let's say you can see the white here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's say it's not blocking it, okay? But now the wave is getting bigger in angular size. Yeah. Now it's blocking it, but it's not physically blocking it. It just appears to.
Yeah.
And that's why it looks like it's having bottom obstruction, because your angle that's limited is that area from here to the ship is this large plane of water. And that is diffracting over the bottom of the ship. Because that's a smaller angle, it gets what you have an Aries disk. So the minima is less than the maxima of the ocean. And that's why you see the ocean more than you do the bottom of the ocean. And because the ocean also, to tell you guys, the boat's always going like this. If anybody's ever been on a boat in the ocean before, you know the boat's always going up and down in swells and over the waves and down. So a lot of the time, because of parallax, because it's further away, it takes longer for that boat to appear that it's going out of a swell. So it looks like it's behind a curve, but it's not, in matter of fact.
Yeah.
So I hope I made sense there.
So sometimes you might get some air as well. Yeah. Yeah, you know, Flats, when you were doing the foreshortening thing, the forced perspective thing with your hand, did you know that your hand's not actually there?
Yeah, according to FTFE, my hand's refracted, guys.
Yeah, that's it. Still waiting for that.
Still waiting for that demonstration.
Can't wait.
Has kind of said or discovered. And he became flustered, and instead of defending his position, he announced the answers would be revealed during his next lecture, which was 2 days away.
Sorry, how convenient. I wish I could do that. Like, someone asked me a question I don't know. Sorry, actually, I'm addressing that in my next lecture. Like, if you could just come along to that, but I can't answer it right now. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Well, exactly. I mean, and that was his plans, right? Because at his next lecture, everyone turned up to finally get those answers. And do you know what? He didn't show up.
Imagine that. That's funny.
Well, it's funny you say that because...
Okay. So now, instead of actually... Okay. Yes, I agree. That's not right what Parallax did. Samuel Rowbotham. Obviously, he didn't have the answers. And he should have just been honest and said, I don't know. Instead, he didn't. But the problem I have with what they're doing now is they're trying to say, well, it's not a flat earth because the guy didn't just man up and say he didn't know.
Well, exactly.
I mean, also if they understood
Character, no.
science, yeah. I mean, also if they understood science, they would understand it also progresses. So a lot of things, let's say 50 years ago, you didn't have a clue what was the cause for something. But today we know what the cause is. Why? Because it progressed.
To be honest, Flat, I don't think so they would understand, because all the miner I see, how they present themselves, they're not too bright. So I don't think so. Even if you provide for them unbeatable evidence, they would flip. It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, but like I said, they've just got into the subject, so obviously they haven't really researched things other than Wiki and probably McTuna nonsense. So they don't really know
Yeah.
what's going on. As I said, so I'd love to have a conversation with them. Hey, Tom, I just want to read the super chat out quickly. $5. Thank you, Flat. It says, really, the mask of the boat should disappear first, being you're going along a curved surface. The back and the bottom of the boat should be last seen. Yeah, to an extent, because if you got a curved surface and going that way, what's going to be up? The back side's going to be up.
Yeah.
That's true. And we don't see that. What's up, Sophie?
Just got home from work. I bruised my coccyx.
Oh, dude, your tailbone sore, man.
Oh my God.
Sore.
Yeah, I was carrying this 16-foot 1x6, man, big long board. And I told you that man gets shit cluttered up around everywhere. My foot got hung up in a piece of plastic and I fell down right on my ass, and that new hammer of mine hit me right in the tailbone. I landed right on it. I was like,
So
I'm all right. Just like when I sit or bend like that, and it gives me a sharp pain for a minute, but I can live through it.
Oh, nasty, man, nasty. I've been to that before. It's not nice. Not a nice thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so all the trolls are now on these people's video.
Oh, good God!
Going to badmouth all flat earthers now.
Oh wow!
Well,
look at it as a positive, girls. I've just given you guys a whole bunch of new viewers.
There you go. There you go.
And the fact that you are inundated now with trolls tells you who you should actually be looking into.
Yes. Yep. Maybe you should listen. I'd like to say to the girl on the left, if she does see this, maybe you should listen to your uncle.
Yeah, I would like to know who your uncle is. I mean, the UK has a lot of flat earthers. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
But so it's not too bad, because you can still sit on your ass. So
Well, unfortunately, I have to do things. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Toon put a video out on Facebook today. Saying these people are terrible and shit. What do you think about that Leanne Broadbent Kane trying to tag my wife and shit? And the video clip is literally me just sitting there. I didn't say
You're not saying anything. Well, the thing is, we've banned like 10 trolls already in the last.
They mentioned Flatz's wife. Yeah.
And they're mentioning my wife. It's like, how do you know about my wife's name? First of all, second of all,
because these people are obsessed sickos, man. They
I'm going to ask a question
people.
about this though. I stick with what my opinion was.
Yeah, same here. I don't. What it's like that stupid video by Drunk Debunk. I'm like, what is it that you're? The only thing that looks stupid is you acting like you can't read. I mean, how long can you do that shtick, for crying out loud? That, and he just says, and this idiot thinks that you need physical containment for gas pressure. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Do you have a demonstration otherwise?
Making yourself sound stupid.
Yeah, Josh says he's also been listening to your show, man.
It will be big simplification, all right? Just listen to me. Do you know how the process in the brain comes up? It's like two cells. They are banging, alpha, beta, different angles. And when they meet, there is an idea, thought. That's the brain of the flat earther.
I think they got two brain cells left, and they're fighting each other for dominance.
It's big simplification. And do you know how it works in the Glober head? the same way, but there is only one cell.
Mm-hmm.
These people are dumber than shit, man.
You
It's
see,
cracking
the
me up.
thing is, McToon is trying to get our attention. Like I said in the beginning, great, he's watching my content so much that he has to go back months back to look for certain clips and stuff. And it shows you we don't watch their stuff because they're desperate to get our attention so they can get content.
So
Frankly, I don't give a
they're
damn
like
what those
women
perverted creeps
on
think of me.
TikTok, looking for validation? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, anybody on the panel, do you care what those perverted creeps think of us?
I wouldn't give a rat's fuck.
No.
Not at all.
We go on with our lives. These little playground tactics just don't work with me. I think I've grown out of that.
To be
I
honest,
know, right? Well, you'd think everybody would, right? But these people, they don't ever, their brains never get any more than fucking school. That's
they're
it.
developed, yeah.
That's where they topped out at. They're like Al Bundy and his glory days of the touchdown at Polk High, And, that was 40 years ago. And these people are still just enamored with this same mentality. That's why I won't go to a class reunion, man.
No.
Hell, anymore, my class reunion, all they do is rent a booth at Bob Evans.
Well, we can't really have a class union. Half the people are overseas, so.
There you go.
I can have my class reunion. That would be probably the best way to make it in the UK.
There's fewer
Maybe
and fewer
everyone's
of
there.
us every time, so I'm waiting until they have the one where they gotta rent a booth at Denny's, and then that'll be.
Yeah, you guys like walk in there. So this is the last of us.
Yeah, class of '83, yay!
Okay, but yeah. Back to these goals. Just to tell you, girls, you see, this is what happens when you get into the flat Earth arena. You get inundated with anti-flat Earth troll weirdos who are totally obsessed with what you believe, what you think, what you even dress. So, and they get into your personal life like crazy. So, just to warn you, if you do get into the subject ever, you've been warned.
Yeah, Raza, I'm in Ireland, exactly.
A lot of
Dublin.
people had that opinion.
Sorry?
Oh, Raza, I was asking me, UK? Aren't you in Ireland, UK? No, I'm in Ireland. But what I was saying is that most of my class, some of them is already dead. Most of my class is in the UK. So the best way to make a class reunion would be in UK because nearly everyone is there.
What? No, I didn't see any super chat. Nope, no super chat. Sorry, man. Just tag me, Tony, then I can read it out for you.
Opinion at the time, and a lot of people were like, well, he obviously didn't have an answer for it. But despite this, the lecture was only a minor setback because with more experience, his wits sharpened and he learned how to experience these doubters. And as his skills grew, so did his following. And in this time, he was actually charging 6p for his lectures. So it's actually unclear whether his ideas were popular because they were convincing or because they were laughable. But it was likely some of both. But it obviously got to a point that his ideas were suddenly becoming profitable, which meant that his passion was getting closer to becoming kind of like a sustainable enterprise with his success.
That is actually
Well, it was his profession. It was his job. He was getting paid for it. Just like anybody else that usually puts work into it and effort, they get paid for things. I don't see an issue with that, though. Does it sound like they saying there's something wrong that he got money through this? I mean, he probably, how can I say, he had to give up his time to go to give lectures. He had to go and explain things. He had to go and write books and stuff. So at the end of the day, it's work. So I don't see an issue with him getting paid for it. I do find it really odd, though, guys. Why is it from the Globe side, no matter what they do, it's okay if they get paid? But if the Flat Earthers get paid for something, it's wrong. Don't you guys find that odd?
No, they're hypocrite. It's right in line with their hypocrisy. It's right in line with their hypocrisy. I would expect no other type of behavior. That's what they do. They always want to reverse everything. 99% of what they do is all projection.
Mm-hmm.
She's so funny. Like, it's giving. What's that scene from Mean Girls where it's like, I can't go out. I'm sick.
Literally.
Just not turning up to the lecture. That is funny. So, did he get quite a big fan base then? A big following, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did, because he ended up becoming just so convincing in his teachings. And I feel like we see that a lot with even today's society with conspiracy theorists. They just are so convincing, and that is how that they get a massive following.
I said this before, but when I went to see David Icke, and he's like, he's doolally, and like, you will fully leave that room convinced that Barack Obama is a lizard. Like, you will fully believe it for like an hour, and then you come.
The thing is with Flat Earth, you get pushed into, you have to know what you're talking about when you're arguing. So you build up charisma. Because it's usually the one that has the more charisma is more believable. The problem is, the thing is, let's say, this is why I don't debate these globers anymore. It's just a waste of time. It's because they're so stupid that even their own arguments debunk themselves, but yet, because they play, I'm the smart one, I went to school, you guys are flat earthers, you dumb, you never went to school kind of thing, rubbish, their gullible audience, which is dumber than they are, will anyway just believe what they say. Even if they had to tell them purple is orange, they'll still believe them.
Absolutely. What
So-
Norman, sorry,
yeah.
carry on.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say what Norman Cross said there about McDoon. If McDoon could, he would have us all executed. Absolutely. I guarantee he would. Guarantee he would.
Yeah, guys, hit the likes, please. Only 40 to go. Well, no, 37 to go. We've got 130 people watching. I'm sure we can get to 100 likes. Please hit the likes and share the show. Let everybody know we are live. And to all the trolls that subscribed just to insult me, thank you for the extra 15 subscribers.
I'm back to reality, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, in 1870, Flat Earther and Rowbotham's follower, a guy called John Hampton, offered £500 to anyone who could prove that the Earth was curved. And so this famed scientist, Alfred Russel Wallace, he stepped up, and he's actually super famous today because he's actually considered the father of both biogeography and also the theory of evolution through natural selection. He kind of came up with this idea and directly inspired Darwin himself. So this guy, he took it.
Yeah, get it. He inspired Darwin to do what?
Upon himself to take up this offer, thinking it would be easy money, and £500 in the 1800s is a lot of money. So the way that he did this was he measured and placed 4 items at the same height above water in a straight line, equidistant from each other, and they were spread out along a 6-mile stretch. So he's kind of trying to mimic what Rowbotham showed before, but slightly differently, right? And his theory was that if you looked through a telescope, the center object would appear higher than the rest. So like it would follow the curvature of the Earth. So the ones closest would appear slightly lower, and the ones furthest away would appear slightly lower, and the one in the middle would be slightly higher than all of them because it would follow the curvature of the Earth.
No, that's just called perspective. Because
Exactly.
it follows to the convergence zone.
But if you make this kind of strawman argument, okay, I have proven that, there's evidence. Oh, it's a globe. That's what I do.
But I mean, I've shown before. Just remember, like Sandy's bridge, where he takes it from a certain angle, and that the Pontchartrain goes very curved, like. Remember, I think it was like 3 years ago. Yeah, in my kitchen, got a It's a bulk. It's literally a wooden bulk that's straight. If you take it from an angle, at a very specific angle, you can make it look like it's curving.
Mm.
So when that guy placed those poles in a certain angle, remember he had to go from an angle to look at them. So while he's looking at them, it looks like it's going like this because it's going to the conversion zone. People have done this many times. I mean, I've seen people take asbestos bottles and stuff and just place them on, and you can see it follows that same thing on a flat table.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this comes back to they're just trusting what the guy says.
No capacity for independent thought.
No,
That's right.
they just follow what's been told. And
Which
they
is sad.
follow. Yeah, it is sad. That's what I always say to people. Even if you like the videos I upload, whatever, don't freaking follow me. Follow yourself and God.
Mm-hmm.
Just subscribe to me, but don't fucking follow me.
I sure as hell don't need nobody to lead me because half the time I find
Oh,
nobody knows
no.
where the hell they're going in the first place.
Yeah, it's a blind leading the blind, man. You know what I mean?
I think I did a demonstration video. I think it was like 5 years ago. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Videos. Sorry, guys, you can carry on talking. I'm just looking for a video quickly.
Well, tomorrow on my stream, I'll be reviewing the movie. Actually, not watching, reviewing. It's going to take a while because it's an hour and 57. The movie Gaslight, because apparently someone's asked me to do it. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Little Wing. I'm not sure. But apparently, you know the saying to gaslight someone. Apparently, it comes from that movie. It derives from that movie. I don't know how true it is, but whoever it was wanted me to review the movie, and I checked to see if it's public domain, and it is. So I'll be able to review it.
Oh, neat.
YouTube as well, you know. So all good. We've got
That
to
rules.
start reviewing that tomorrow.
If I'm not mistaken, Angela Lansbury is in that movie.
There's might be, I'm not sure, but there's certainly what's the name again? It just went out of my head. I just seen it earlier. Let me just see. Where's that blooming name? Such a famous name. Yeah, Angela Lansbury's in it. You're right. Absolutely. Where's that name I was looking at? Ingrid Bergman.
Okay.
Ingrid Bergman, yeah. But yeah, Angela Lansbury's in it, yeah.
Yeah, she used to be, you know, if people out there don't know who Angela Lansbury is, she was the writer woman in the
Murder, She
TV
Wrote.
show called Murder, She Wrote. But let me tell you something. Back in the day, she was a little hottie. Angela Lansbury was actually a pinup girl during World War II.
Wow. No, Sandro, I didn't come up with the movie. I didn't even know about the movie. The person actually gave me the movie as well. Found the movie for me, gave me it from because it's on internet archive. So no, it wasn't me, Sandro. I didn't even know about the movie, to be honest.
I think it was this one.
Vanishing Point. I think I might have seen that one, Brad Dash. I think I might have seen that one. It rings a bell.
What the? YouTube's been doing this all day to me. I click on a video and it takes me to someone else's channel.
It did that to me 3 times while I
All
was.
day, I press on a video and it takes me to someone else's total channel.
Yeah. 3 times it did that to me yesterday. While I'm streaming.
Huh.
Let me just check Vanishing Point.
I'll tell you one thing, Toon, that little greasy, pudgy weirdo, he's really butthurt. He really is. He's butthurt, and it's, you know, living rent free in his head. And it's like, yeah, what? Because you got busted out for your big lie? Nobody believes your bullshit? That's what you're upset about? Oh, poor little thing.
Poor
Now
guy.
run along and play with the kitties and the frisbees or whatever kind of gay shit you do.
Yeah, this is an old video. This was a wall. All I did was turn the camera right. Now remember, a wall is flat. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm pushing this train. You can see on the right, that's a picture frame. There's a couch. But see, I'm just pushing it away. You're going to see what's going to happen. This is what happens when you look at boats and things. See what's happening. It looks like it's going over a curve, correct?
Yes.
And that's exactly what happens when you look at like what that guy was explaining when he has the poles and you're looking at it at an angle. It makes it appear like it's going that way because of perspective. Hey, Roger, you back?
Yeah, I am.
Hey!
Yeah. Nobody's going into depth with Einsteinian stuff with gravity and light and electrons, how they attach to matter and contain it and stuff. Yeah, they don't go in how crazy that stuff is. I was just backtracking on you there, what I was listening to earlier. They don't, and Einstein was the one that came up with the upward rising Earth theory to begin with and said that Newton was wrong. Newton's been proven to be wrong to start with now. So all the stuff that they're touting is pseudoscience, and they're claiming it's science. I don't get it.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons Newton didn't even publish his paper.
Yeah.
He thought it was ridiculous, and it wasn't until after he died somebody else published it.
Yeah. That's usually the thing that happens. It seems to be an ongoing theme with everything, especially with things that are false. The people find the things like Newton an absurd, an unknown force, an absurdity. Okay,
Yep.
you wouldn't want to ascribe to it. So another guy waits for him to die, and then decides, hey, let's publish it on his behalf. The guy that literally said he wants nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
It usually happens, though. A lot of these things seem to happen. Let's look at Aristophanes, for instance. 300 years after the guy supposedly died, there's no work for him to ever show documentation to show it ever existed. His so-called stuff burnt down in the Library of Alexandria.
Mm-hmm.
But someone who didn't know him, has no proof of him, just decided he did this. Come on.
Where does that go there like that?
Yes, Joyce B. Einstein came up with upward rising Earth. It was general relativity.
Yeah. And I want to quote Saab right quick. What was it? I can't remember what he said. Saab used to say this all the time, though. I'm just kidding. I can't remember what Saab used to say about it. There's something. Saab, what's your catchphrase for bullshit? I mean, scientific pseudoscience? I can't remember. Now I'm just rambling.
Oh, the Bahui?
Yeah, there you go. That'll work. Bahui.
Yeah.
If it comes back to you, there's something.
No, he's talking about that
stuff.
combobulation you made up. I don't remember what
it
is, but you say it all the time.
Refracted gravillax.
Yeah, gravillax.
Refracted gravillax, man. It's about scientific as Newton or Einstein.
Okay, let's go.
If they all appeared at the same height, then he would have failed to prove this. And the event itself was over in a blink of an eye, literally as quick as it took to look through the telescope. Because anyone who did look through the telescope said that the centermost object did actually appear to be the highest. And
because of forced perspective. It's very big explained. I mean, and did they take into refraction those days into account? No, they didn't. See, there's so many optical phenomena happening that they didn't understand what was going on, so they just made a decision based on their bias, belief. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also why we say, when it comes to demonstration like that, it's not science. It doesn't prove anything other than people have a bias and a deduction based on that bias. Like we look at that same observation and say, well, it's optical.
It's even more than that.
curve. Yeah, it's not physical. We
it's
can
a-
explain it optically.
Yeah.
They say, no, it's physical. So now, how does that work? One's going to say yes, one's going to say no. Does that now prove reality? No, it doesn't.
It's even more than that, just the bias. It's the confirmation bias. It's even deeper than that.
Confirming it. Exactly.
I just remember what I was thinking of. It's like their distance to the sun. The quote he gave was like, as long as it suits our purposes. Anything they make up, as long as they can feed you that, if it suits their purposes, they'll do it, like their cosmology. The distance to the sun, as long as they can maneuver where they want it to, as long as it suits the pseudoscience purpose. Like there's a purpose to the actual cosmos and the stuff that they in their cosmology. That's what I was looking for.
Well, it's the same as, if you remember critical think, where there's a weight measuring not experiment in Antarctica. When they asked him, why didn't you take any controls into account, any temperature, and he says, why do I need to? I got the results I wanted. You know what I mean?
Scientific. Very scientific.
Yeah, that was his excuse. Why do I need to? I got the results I wanted. So this is exactly with the globe and the sun as well. The sun changes every time they do something different. They find it wrong. The sun changes distance. That's why it's ended up now at 93 million. It's been at 800 million. It's been at 8 million. It's been at a few thousand. It keeps changing, but yet their radius keeps being the same. Why?
This way, I can very easily provide the evidence that when I flip the coin, it's not heads or tails. It always falls down on the edge of the coin, because I choose only the one example. Let's say I flip it 10,000 times, and 3 times I flip on the edge, and I just choose those 3 examples. You see, 100% always flips on the edge.
Exactly. And that's unfortunately how the globe works.
Do you have a two-headed?
Yeah, but I mean, they take, let's say they take 100 observations or 100, calculations, measurements, or whatever, and they take the 10 that supports them. They throw everything else away. They don't care about that. They only care about the 10 out of those 100 that support them. So then they only present the 10.
Why then they don't take into consideration those 90? Oh, I didn't do an observation correctly, or something like that.
But that's also why they have so much correction errors. If you realize there's so much things that always have correction errors for a globe, and the correction errors are always based on the same bias. The bias being flat lines curve. We have a radius, and gravity exists. Always. If you didn't take any of those into consideration, it doesn't fit their globe. Sweet bugger all. Nothing will fit. Nothing will work. But they have to make those considerations to fit their belief system. That's sad.
Despite Hampton's best efforts, Wallace decided to offer an explanation for why Rowbotham's experiments were not properly executed. So while his initial measurements were mathematically sound, so his decision to do 6-mile distance was enough to show the curvature, it absolutely was, his conclusions were flawed because he failed to account for atmospheric refraction, and that is how light bends as it passes through air layers of varying densities.
You see what I'm saying? See, they're using Fermat's principle. Terrestrial refraction already has the radius value taken into account. So it already has a booked outcome. Now, that isn't actually refraction of light. Terrestrial refraction is your R value flattening out your curve. It's making your radius larger. That's all terrestrial refraction does. The thing is also refraction can do multiple things. Why do you think refraction could have been the cause why that middle looked higher? Yes, and guess what? Refraction is only optical. I know.
Yeah, it is.
I think Skyfree did more observations recently.
Oh, she did. Nice.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet, but I think it would be
Well,
great to maybe
refraction's not always accounted for. You can't, if there's no moisture in the air, no water, no fluids in the air, or heavy gases, you're not going to have a heavy refraction index. So if you actually look at the refraction index and what it doesn't do what
Okay.
they calculate it for.
Yeah. Okay, I want to point out something. This is exactly what I was talking about. That's a flat surface. That's a floor. Does it look like it's going over curve? Is the middle one higher than the back one?
It does look that way.
Yeah. And it seems to be higher than the front one, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is what they were observing on that she's saying now means curve. So is that flat floor curved? No. We are able to explain what's going on optically. Can they tell us this is physically curved? No, because it measured flat. But it seems curved. And this is exactly what the globers do. They see it looks curved to them, so they say it's curved.
But it's not physically curving.
It's not physically curving. That's exactly that. And that's why when Parallax, Samuel Robotham, he didn't really understand what was going on, so he couldn't combat it. Now with knowledge that has gone on, if it was any of us there, let's say that would happen today. The guy that wanted to claim this $500 would get laughed out the room because we'd say, but look, it's just optical. You got no argument. But the globers take it as it's physical.
They have to. They believe it does. They believe that curves, dude.
Yeah.
Over a long stretch. Yeah.
Yeah, and look what refraction is doing. Refraction is causing the things to disappear. Not to appear, causing it to disappear. In other words, it's making the curve appear. And I've seen this many, many times with their observations. Look at that.
Yeah. The curve is in the lens.
No.
Brilliant. But yeah, that's why I say when people come into this arena and they don't really have the knowledge, go talk to the actual flat earthers to get the knowledge instead of looking at Wikipedia and going to anti-flat earth channels, because then you're not going to get the correct information. You're only going to get one side, which is most of the time just false.
So this
a lot of background noise.
Yeah, somebody's got the YouTube on. Flatzoid in the background.
Very loud.
Yeah.
I have it going in the living room, but I can't even barely hear it from here. Is my microphone picking it up? Hold up.
Yeah, that's you.
It's you, so.
Yeah. Your mic's good. You got a good mic.
You got a good mic, man.
Documented phenomenon.
So what you can do, so
objects to
you
remain
can
visible.
change the setting for the not picking up from the room, just direction.
He's in his chair right now. He just stood up.
Yeah, right. You see it. Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.
Or even when they should be obscured by the curvature of the earth. And it's actually a really common phenomenon. So when you're looking at a sunset, for example, the sun might still appear to be hovering in the sky just above the horizon, but it has actually already fallen below the horizon.
Which is also just a belief.
Yeah.
That's one thing I have to say about the globe is it's always trust me. You're seeing what you see, but don't trust that's what you see. The sun has already gone below the Earth curve, but you can see it because it's just refraction. Okay. Just like when they see a city 50 miles away that you're not supposed to see. Oh, no, guys, it's not actually there. You're just seeing it refracted. It's a hologram. Okay.
Because of the way that the air and the water distorts the sun.
But I'm a bit confused because like this was in the 1800s, right? So like if it was proved to be false back then like how do people still believe that this is?
It wasn't proven to be false.
What's the thing? It's always that's the misconception. That's the fallacy. People think that gravity has been proven, that flat Earth was proven false a long time ago when it never was. They just put a big deception in front of you, and everybody bought it.
I've heard it said about all of this from professors.
I've got a statement from McToon who just came in, which I just blocked. Maybe you want to let go of the children tied to the pole in your basement. There we go.
Wow, unbelievable!
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the grand illusion, is what I've been taught.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you something there, Toon. You effeminate little grease ball. What is it that I said? I didn't. If you watch your own clip, I didn't say anything during the entire clip, did I? Nope, not a word. But just knowing that I live rent free in your head, I like that.
Thank you for trying to think we're actually going to give you content because you're desperate to need it.
What accusations are they on about? Because I haven't said
he
anything
has an
about
issue
anybody,
with us
so
saying there's
I
a
don't know what they're
reason
talking about.
no, he's got an issue that we're saying Lisbeth. There's a reason Lisbeth went with them on that trip.
Oh, that's it.
And because of the context, we were talking about the picture we saw of her sent to Jaron. So then I made a statement. Yeah, it's called the village bicycle.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't say she is a village bicycle. I said it's just but the problem is this guy wants to misrepresent and say that's what I'm thinking. But okay.
Well, McToon's obviously watching the show. Hi, McToon.
And it's funny they all came around at once. And it's funny they all came around at the same time. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You have some extreme youth frisbee or some other gay shit to do.
No, he's got to go build some kind of Lego space shuttle again, because the last dildo he built wasn't big enough.
Why is Scary still alive?
That's a good one. Exactly. That's why he's angry. That's a good one, Sandra.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good question, and I think it's one that I don't think I'll fully be able to answer, other than like people just were really convincing with how they told a story, and some people had free will and decided to believe that, but it was basically continued by dedicated believers of the theory despite the evidence.
Not a theory.
Obviously,
I wish they would stop saying it's a conspiracy and a theory. It's reality. There's no theory behind the flat Earth. There's no conspiracy. The only conspiracy in the flat Earth you could say is
call me again. Right in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bit crazy, but we know nowadays that there are people, you can hand them all the evidence in the world and they'll still believe what they want to believe.
Yeah.
And in 1956, an Englishman named Samuel Shenton founded the International Flat Earth Society, and he
same wiki stuff. That's it, just same wiki.
Was heavily influenced by Samuel Rowbotham's ideas.
I can tell you now, McToon is red in his face. My last statement. Roger, mate.
Come on,
dude. Interrupt the whole fucking thing. Now I'm going to jump in and jump back out.
What are you doing?
Okay. Anyway,
what were you saying now?
Doing?
I don't have a clue. Roger, what's going on, man?
Oh, no, I keep getting phone calls. I'm on the phone right now, so.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Nothing else.
Yeah.
experiments, but took a slightly different approach. And rather than sort of leaning on religious texts, he presented himself as a man of science, and he even managed to become an inductive member of the Royal Astronomical and Royal Geographical societies, just like some of the flat earthers before him. And he was eager to spread his beliefs and took every opportunity to speak on the subject. But just 2 years after founding his society in 1958, something happened that he probably didn't love. NASA was established, and soon after, satellite images showing the curvature.
Oh. Satellite images? You mean computer generated images based in a place that violates the natural law of thermodynamics?
Yeah.
Remember, those supposed photos, which are just computer generated images called CGI, it's composites, it's not even actual photographs. It's based from a place which violates natural law. I think I would take my chances to say they fake.
I would go with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as saying, well, guys, guess what? I observed a polar bear living in the Mojave Desert, and his fur was even thicker than the ones in Antarctica. And you think to yourself, but they will die of heat there. It's not going to work. The polar bears need to cool down. How's he going to live in the Mojave Desert? It's like, no, but just trust me. Because I took a photo of one in the Mojave Desert. And then you take a polar bear, put it in the Mojave Desert, and the thing dies. Why? Because it's not made for that environment. Just like the satellites can't go to a place that violates natural law to take the photos you claim are real, which are just computer-generated composite images.
Right.
Of the Earth started making headlines worldwide, and instead of reconsidering his stance, Shenton dismissed these images and claimed that they were just optical illusions created by wide-angle lenses. I guess kind of like 0.5 that we know today, or like GoPro or like fisheye lenses. And it was likely around this time that the flat Earth model shifted from a square to a disc. So originally, people thought that the Earth was a
It's always been a disc.
What?
Well, not a disc.
What square to a disc? Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, said from a. Yeah, no one's ever thought the flat Earth is a square. So I don't know where she's getting that.
No.
So that's what
square, and decided to kind of evolve into them thinking it was a flat disc. And another idea in this time also emerged.
No disc. Anybody here believe there's a disc? No. Just a circle and discs are two different things. Yeah, square Earth, LJ. I've never heard of square Earth before, but yeah, everybody learns something new every day, probably.
And that was that Antarctica wasn't a continent at the bottom of the globe. It was actually a massive ice wall encircling the entire flat Earth.
No. Antarctica is not a giant ice wall. Antarctica holds all the waters in as a giant ice wall. It doesn't make Antarctica a giant ice wall. It's just the ice that surrounds the Earth. That's it. And by the way, Antarctica is how high in elevation again, guys? Much higher than the water and sea level, correct?
Yeah.
So kind of odd that they would think the water would go over the ice. I mean, a lot of places in Antarctica, they literally need a ship with a crane to get the people onto the ice because it's so high. No stress, Roger. Thanks for coming, man.
Yep, I seen the video. You're correct.
Video.
I have somewhere on my channel video
It's a
where
really
the guy
convenient
supposedly go to the firmament and he picked up kind of snow, but it was like a blue snow,
Blue ice. It's blue ice.
blue ice. Yeah, exactly.
And you only get blue
So,
ice in Antarctica, guys.
mhm,
Nowhere else.
yeah,
And when it evaporates, it becomes air. It doesn't become water. It doesn't melt and become water.
yeah,
It's
it
air.
is.
It's gas.
Yeah. So was it really part of the firmament? Because firmament is unbreakable. So this one doesn't add up for me, you know. But yeah, the blue snow, it's really odd. So I can't really say if I believe it or not. Hard to really say. Because from one hand, firmament you can't break it. So how they would be able to get a piece of it? That's just doesn't add up for me.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Explanation for why the oceans just don't spill over the edges and you just don't fall off the edge of the earth. And then
Fall
came
off to what? Where are you going to fall into?
Oh, man. That's it. That's it.
Fall off with
But I
what?
think she's going to say now about the ice wall, you know. So she just asked me the question, kind of rhetorical, but she will provide the answer to the question, even if it's kind of rhetorical.
Because you see, they always place the flat Earth automatically in space on some
Yep.
pizza flying disc. Okay.
Yeah.
They always want to take
Because-
their belief and place it onto flat Earth, and then they say, "Look how ridiculous this is." Yeah, because your belief has nothing to do with the flat Earth. So when you believe that gravity, so what? Don't try push gravity onto flat Earth. It has nothing to do with each other. So instead of saying gravity is not compatible with the flat Earth, rather understand that gravity has nothing to do with the flat Earth. So of course it's not compatible. Why would you want to put your belief onto it? And to place it into space, which we say cannot exist based on natural law, why are you placing it in, again, your belief system? Everything is based on a globe belief system, and then a straw man flat Earth based on that belief system.
I think we can agree that majority of society is deeply brainwashed. So I say it's very bad when you are well adjusted with a very sick society.
No
I
idea.
thought it was my phone. I took it away and I said, no, it's not my phone.
Not mine.
Someone's phone rang.
Brian Young says that all the time, Janusz. If you ever watch a High Impact or what's he call himself, Here's the Deal channel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Disturbing Illusion is his other one too.
their flat earthers' biggest challenge yet, and that was astronauts returning home with photographs of the Earth as a sphere. But Shenton still wasn't convinced, right? He argued.
Oh, when did they do that? I must have missed that one.
No, but she's talking about Shenton, the Flat Earth Society. Sure. So, yeah.
Of course.
This is, but we all agree, Flat Earth Society is not flat earthers. So, I find it a waste of time to actually even need to answer it.
That all the images were fake, and we kind of touched on this in the first episode of this series where we spoke about moon landing and how obviously the images could be doctored, and in doing so he planted the seed for one of today's most well-known flat earth claims, and that is that NASA is actively covering up the true shape of the Earth. And he wasn't alone. His theory aligned.
Well, why can't they be doing it? People always saying, oh, why would they lie? What they get?
I know.
Well, it's called
Go ask
control. Yeah,
Go.
but it's all
Go
control.
ask him.
I mean, if you want to control someone, they say, how can everybody be in on it? Has anybody been to North Korea before?
Nope.
Do you even know what happens in North Korea? Do you know those people are lied to by their government? They can't even have the internet. The movies they get are all propagandized, and it's literally they have to believe what's told to them. Now that's a whole country, guys. Does their government lie to them? And all the people in the government working for them?
Every government lies. That's what they're about. Governo mentis, control of the mind.
Exactly, but that's my point. They say, how can everybody be in on it? Easy, it's called compartmentalization.
Yep.
A lot of people just doing their job. They don't know what they're doing is wrong. They just think what they're doing is true. It's the top echelon of people that know that they're lying. You don't need the people under them to know that they're lying. It's like when you run a business and it's a fraudulent business and the people working there don't know it's a fraudulent business. Let's say people are exporting and importing black market goods, okay?
Mhm.
The people working there don't know it's black market goods. They just know they're importing and exporting products. Are those people now, do they think that they're doing these illegal objects? No, they don't, because they're just doing their job. It's compartmentalized. They're not getting to know where the stuff's coming from. It's the same with these space agencies. The people are doing their job. The guy pressing that button or looking at data on the screen is believing it. Does it make it true? No, it doesn't make it true.
And even their training, when they run the test and so on, you can't really recognize if it's real or if it's a test. So when they tell them it's real, they think it's real. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. It's all it is. It's all the thing. So yeah, when people try and say, oh, they don't lie to you, well, then you're just very naive. You're very gullible. This is reality. It's a grown-up world. I have to face the hard facts. Not everybody is handy-dandy and super loving. Some people are really cynical and psychopaths out there. And unfortunately, most of the people that's ruling this place are psychopaths.
True.
They only care about themselves.
Yep. Unfortunately, people, even if they're grown up, supposedly, they still want to have daddy government to rule them and tell them what to do, what to think.
Yeah. What's up, Ian?
I don't.
Thank you for your $2 for this. Hey, squad. Woo, good to see you, man. Appreciate this. You rock. So I think we're going to have to maybe do a series on the moon landing thing, see what they come up with that as well. It might be interesting.
Combined with another emerging conspiracy that NASA faked the moon landing, like I said, and he believed that the agency was actually running a massive scam, faking space research to launder tax money for top secret projects. What projects exactly, he never specified because obviously they were top secret. But despite facing a lot of backlash, Shenton managed to grow the International Flat Earth Research Society, proving that the Flat Earth movement wasn't going away anytime soon.
That's really interesting. I feel like the whole controversy around the moon landing definitely amplified this theory, right? Like they probably in a way helped each other grow because a lot of people assumed that one supported the other. So that's really interesting.
I can agree with that.
So I can kind of see how those theories grow. But can we go back to Antarctica? Because the next time my uncle brings this up at Christmas dinner, I want to be able to argue it fully with science. And so can we talk about
how are you going to argue Antarctica with science? Antarctica's got nothing to do with science.
No. Maybe.
Yeah, that's the teal color you're talking about. Justin, I hope I got the right color now for you in Discord. I tried. I actually went to get a color code and stick it in, so I hope it's the right color.
For starters, how did that theory even come about? How did everyone just decide, okay, there's mile-high walls around Antarctica? Surely someone didn't just say it and then everyone's like, yeah, fairs, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, obviously there was a lot of doubt around this time about the moon landing, and literally around a similar time in 1958 the Antarctic Treaty was signed, and that designated Antarctica as a place for peaceful but scientific research. But to flat earthers, this wasn't just about international cooperation. It was suspicious. Why would so many countries suddenly agree to protect a frozen, uninhabited continent? For them, the answer was clear, and the treaty was actually part of a massive cover-up. And what was being hidden? It was the giant ice wall that supposedly surrounds the edge of the Earth. And I can't.
No,
Of the Earth.
the thing is, Antarctica is the key to showing that, how can I put it? That the government's all working together, actually. It's simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Antarctica is not a continent. You can't even have a picture of Antarctica. Has anybody actually seen an actual picture of Antarctica yet?
No.
We get them all stitched together with
Yep.
everything. What's the excuse? Oh, it's too cold to send the satellites over there. What?
That don't make no sense.
It's too cool to send the satellites over there.
They don't find it viable for a satellite just to fall past Antarctica and take a photo of it. I don't know. When they do take the photos, there's usually a gaping hole in the middle because it's where they stitched it together.
Yeah.
Actually say this without like having a smirk on my face, because to me it's just so crazy. But from their perspective, there was no other reason why world leaders would be so invested in keeping Antarctica off limits unless it was literally holding our planet together.
And it's like, well, what was next to Antarctica? Is there some like blank space between the countries and then these mile-high walls? Because, you know, you can't have like Antarctica next to the Caribbean because it would just fucking melt the ice.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
I don't get that.
Mile high walls again. I've never had a mile high walls though. I mean, a few 100 feet, yeah, but mile high.
Mile high, that's a bit crazy. One thing they also got to look into: why do you have a limit to altitude that you're allowed to fly in Antarctica? Why do all the planes fly lower than 13,000 feet when they go to Antarctica? Don't you find that odd?
They don't like talking about that height limit. I'll tell you what, that's amazing how triggered these people get when you talk about the firmament.
Yeah.
Oh man, they get bent out of shape. And it's like, well, listen, all you have to do is show a repeatable, demonstrable experiment that verifies your claim of gas pressure within an open thermodynamic system. Go ahead. That's all you got to do. Don't
Show us.
go myth attracts mass. I don't give a shit about none of your myths. Let's see a demonstration about it. They won't
Yeah,
do
we're
it.
still waiting for Duffy's demonstrations for measured Earth curve, for observable Earth rotation, and for gas burst out containment demonstration, correct? How long has it been by now?
Oh,
Long time, man.
Yeah. He said he had it already, so I don't know why we haven't got it yet.
I want to know, like, I think there is a well-documented map of what flat Earth looks like, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
We got to look at that. I'm going to look at that at some point. But all of this was pre-internet, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I imagine this is very similar with a lot of conspiracy theories, but did the invention of the internet change anything? Like more, I don't know, like exchange of information, I guess.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you say that, and I think it's like quite nice that it comes from you because, you know, you're into sort of the age of the internet and how that impacts us. But that's absolutely correct. Like, this was all pre-internet, and I think it's harder to kind of formulate a belief and get it out there pre-internet. Now we have the internet. Misinformation is just flying all over the...
Oh, yeah, we know that. We know that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, but let's put it this way. Was the Bible pre-internet?
Absolutely.
I mean, Christianity spread more quicker than anything else.
Yes, it did.
Pre-internet.
Yep.
Certainly did.
Original pre-internet is nature. We are connected to nature, and it was called tryptophan. That's why,
look,
because it was nature, because Satan cannot create anything, he perverts and change and uses what God created.
I mean, look, the information's more, it's just more quickly accessible now. It's just more easily accessible. And once upon a time, before the internet, people went and read books, stuff like that, learn things.
Yeah, people don't want to read books these days, if you realize that.
No, that's an analog thing to do. It's not digital flats, come on.
They want moving pictures.
Yes.
They want the pictures to tell them what's going on, not you need to read. That's so yesterday.
Shop and like there's no real kind of control of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But there was a guy named Daniel Shenton, and he actually had no relation to Samuel Shenton, and he created an online forum where flat earthers could discuss their beliefs without ridicule. And this anonymous space gave the
without ridicule.
What's that?
Yeah, I would love to see that place.
Yeah,
in theory, you could have maybe say that works, but nah.
Yeah.
A lot more room to grow, and soon new ideas and theories started filling in the gaps of the flat earth logic. And by 2009 the Flat Earth Society had launched an official website complete with membership opportunities and its own wiki. But with so many people contributing, not everyone always agreed on the details, and in fact the only thing all modern flat earthers agree on is that the earth is flat, and essentially everything else is up for debate. And in the same sort of space, the rise of YouTube also helped spread the movement even further. So you have creators like Mark Sargent, and he gained...
Really?
That's an odd name to bring up first.
Yeah, Mark Sargent.
Now I wonder why she's talking about a mile-high ice walls. Probably got that from him.
Maybe.
But this is what I was trying to say about Mark Sargent. As much as he's brought a lot of people to Flat Earth, he brings the false information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Niche internet fame for various videos on flat earth theory, and his series like Flat Earth Clues racked up hundreds of thousands of views. And in 2008 he was even featured on a documentary called Behind the Curve, which explored the flat earth community and its growing popularity. And Sargent's particular version of the theory takes things even further. He actually believes that the earth isn't just flat.
Yeah, the mockumentary.
Yeah, exactly.
It is completely enclosed. So according to him, NASA has never been to space because space travel isn't even possible. Instead, he argues that the sky itself, often referred to as the firmament, is a physical barrier, a kind of simulation, if you will, like a giant planetarian dome.
See what I'm saying?
Simulation dome?
You see what I'm saying? This is why a lot of people have red flags with Mark Sargent. Because the information he pushes makes Flat Earth look stupid.
Simulated dome. Okay.
Yeah, everybody knows what I think of simulation Earth.
Yeah. Rubbish. Garbage.
Garbage.
That controls daytime and nighttime and the stars. And the reason I'm saying a simulation is because we touched on the simulation last week. So if you want to learn all about the simulation theory and whether that's plausible, I can tell you now, spoiler, it's a lot more plausible than this conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Oh my word.
Oh my goodness. Simulation theory is more plausible than flat Earth. Are you absolutely stupid? My goodness.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
There's
Okay.
a definitive answer to that.
That's it. I got my answer to that. Cool.
Dumber than a bag of hammers.
Wow.
And how is the simulation theory more plausible than reality?
Exactly. Flat Earth is a physical thing, a reality, but simulation, you have no proof for that whatsoever, and it's not reality. It's not a physical thing. It's a concept that is just bullcrap.
I think people watch too much Matrix.
Yeah,
I love
that's
the
a good
Matrix as
point. You know,
well.
in Matrix.
I love the Matrix, but they watch too much.
I
How
know
would you
what
know that's what you experience? It's reality. If it's all senses and electric, how you would know if you are in the Matrix? That's a good question. I don't assume I'm in the Matrix, but how the fuck I would know if I would be? We wouldn't.
Right.
But yeah. So who is behind this illusion or simulation? Well, Sargent actually believes it could be NASA or possibly some higher being, and he even compares it to the Truman Show,
NASA or
which is a
higher
great
being.
movie that stars Jim Carrey's character, who unknowingly lives his entire life inside a massive fake world built to deceive him, and it's like basically a TV show for everybody else. And for flat earthers like Sargent, this isn't just a conspiracy, it's a completely different way of seeing reality. And thanks to the internet, the perspective is just reaching more people than it ever did before.
Who knew the flat earth theory had some overlap with simulation theory? Because really it does. But
Yeah,
this
it
is
does.
kind of giving like an immature version of simulation theory. Like it's giving Springfield, The Simpsons, that film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we spoke.
I don't even have anything to say.
Flat Earth makes simulation theory immature sounding. What?
But you see the reason I say I have an issue with what's going on here is because, see, Mark Sargent, it's this that we're saying. You see the information you've pushed. Do you see what the outcome is of that information? What's the outcome? Look how dumb flat Earth is. Look
They
how
are,
stupid they are.
yeah,
It's
they,
ridiculous.
They think all flat earthers think this.
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite crazy.
Spoke about that on the Origins of Space episode.
Yeah.
Where like they used to think it was the model was like a geocentric model where everything orbited the Earth and that everything was in domes. Crazy.
It's actually crazy.
So now I guess we know where the flat Earth theory comes from and also like how it gained popularity. And I would say that the theory is fairly baseless. But there's not really much science here, is there? It's
shape's not science.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and I can guarantee if you come talk to us, we are able to give you much more proof for reality that the Earth is flat than your belief in the globe. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
If you're awake to the flat Earth, it's much easier later to comprehend all other conspiracies. That's the main root of all conspiracies.
But yeah, so if they do come and talk sometime, it'll be great. Like I said, we won't be attacking or anything. They just got into this, so they don't really understand what's going on. But I would
look into it.
I would like to challenge them then on their belief system of the globe.
Definitely.
And show us that it's not faith-based. Prove without a doubt that what's presented to your globe is actually true and not just based on faith.
They can't.
Where we show observation, which is not faith-based, is just what it is.
You know why they can't? Even the, let's say, educated globbers, they can't prove it. They can provide evidence for that. But for them, it's only based on the faith. Like you said, it's cult. So they can't really justify their standing position. They will bring, because science prove it. That's what they bring. Because they can't really give any evidence that sunrise, sun, and so on. That's it. Seasons, this kind of examples they will use. Nothing more than that.
I get sick of them.
Yeah, guys, I couldn't tag them for some reason. It wouldn't let me tag their channel, but I did put their video in the description, and I did comment on them to saying I would love to have a conversation with them. So if you guys can go to their channel and let them know that we did the show and would like to have a conversation with them.
Perfect. So what we can do for you, Flat, and for us as well, drop the link and we go together now and like your comment. So when they see the amount of the likes, so maybe they will consider it. Thank you.
Yeah, then they can consider it, and then we can have a discussion, because I think there is a lot that they don't know. They're just basing all this on ignorance. They've taken this from Wiki and from, unfortunately, place like Mark Sargent taking false information, which now we actual flat earthers have to now correct.
Yeah. Please, everyone, now go and click like under the Flat's comment, please.
So let's see. Like I said, they don't have a big channel, but they got 39 comments. Woo! Yeah. When I commented, I think
I'll write that comment now.
When I comment, Dave McKeegan even. Dave McKeegan, are you wanting to make sure that they rather listen to you? You see, guys, this is cult mentality. They want to try keep their flock with them. They don't want people to understand reality. Look at it. Funny you mentioned Antarctica. Just a few months ago, I went there with some flat earthers to show the earth can't be flat. At least one of those who went are no longer a flat earther. You mean one that was never a flat earther?
Talking about that Jesuit piece of dog shit, Jaron? Fuck him.
Wow, look at this. Peter Markley, I see Flat Earth's perspective commented here. I've personally been the target of multiple disgustingly dishonest and hateful behaviors by him and his friends. Please beware. That is such a lie. Well done, Peter Markley, the guy that completely misrepresents and lies. Because I'm sure he calls us still robothanists after we say he shouldn't, correct?
He's an idiot anyways, man.
And by the way, he's one of the main editors on WikiFlurf. Very Christian-like, is it?
Well, it just shows he's an unhinged weirdo.
He's also the
fact that you would actually associate yourself with that slimy little greaseball that tells me everything I need to know, right there.
And not to mention, he's the guy that says it's pleasing to God to bear false witness.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, guys, go and comment. Say, hey, what's up? See, all I said is Earth is 100% flat, 100%. If you ever want to talk about it, let me know. That was it. See how nice that is. If you look at the rest of them, what's all these comments? Stay away from Flatzoid. Flatzoid, Flatzoid. Flatzoid is, everything is attack Flatzoid. Weird. Instead of, hey, do you want to talk about the subject sometime? Just don't talk to Flatzoid. They're scared of people talking to me.
Yes. That's like the Jehovah's Witnesses. You're not supposed to look at anything that's not Jehovah's Witness approved material.
That's actually funny. We actually had when was it, Sunday? I came outside and I saw Jehovah's Witness pamphlet in my gate. And I was actually sad that I missed him, because I would have had some fun with him. You know what I mean?
I was just about commenting that, but we reviewed your video over on Flatzoid's perspective. Good vid, but I think you have a lot of misconceptions about Flat Earth. You don't want to listen to the likes of Mark Sargent. Come over to Flatzoid's perspective and talk real truths.
Yeah, brilliant.
Cool. And I liked yours, obviously.
Yeah, Plain Villager, the script they were reading was straight off Wiki. So... okay, so what do you guys have to say? Any closing statements or?
No, I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, they're still green. I mean, they've just come into it. I suppose you've got to give them a little bit of leeway there. But they certainly have got a lot of misconceptions about it, especially coming straight out of Wiki and listening to the likes of Mark Sargent straight off the bat. It's always got to be leads you down a good path. So it would be good if they came over and spoke. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'll do. Good stream. Good stream.
You guys having shows later on?
I'll go
I
on
had my
tomorrow.
show last night, man.
Tomorrow, 2 p.m. GMT, we're reviewing the Gaslight 1944 movie. Not watching it, reviewing it. Obviously, to review it, we have to watch it, but it's not an enjoyment review. It's just to review it, and it's going to take a few episodes, I think, because it's an hour and 57 long. But we can do it on YouTube because it's public domain. It's from 1944, and it's now public domain, so we can do it on YouTube as well as Rumble.
Yeah,
it's good. Apparently, it's where they're saying about gaslighting someone comes from. I don't know how true that is. Watch the movie and see what it says about it. But yeah, I'll put links in
you
there.
guys rock. Appreciate all the comments. And by the way, we still not 100 likes. Why not? Sure, we can get there. 15 to go. Come on, guys. We can do this.
15, guys. 15.
25, not 15.
Oh.
But yeah, please hit the likes. And the votes are ending now 183 votes. Are all people who get into the subject so ignorant to science? Yes, 38%. No, 43%. Not sure, 20%. I would like to actually ask them what exactly is their role in science. I think that would be an interesting thing to find out. But yeah, I think it was a good show. Thank you guys all for coming. I appreciate it. I'll see you all then tomorrow night. Make sure to catch PJ live, and Roger's probably going to have a show as well. So make sure to catch them as well. And then till tomorrow night, many, many blessings, and may the pressure be with you. Cheerio.
Pop's hand, here we go. Have a good night, everyone.
Crafted signs of the divine. I'm made for something true. In God's plan, my path through